Hey y'all, Zach McDonald, your real estate agent with Real Property Associates, and this is my Seattle and Bellevue real estate and housing market predictions for 2023. As we wrap up 2022 and head into 2023, I want to recap or look back at some of the predictions from last year's video and make some new predictions for 2023 as we head into the new year. Of course, I got to dust off the crystal ball at least once a year because, well, you're all curious and I'm curious as well to be able to look back and see what I was thinking at one point and to be able to look back and reflect on it and also project for the new year. So that's what we're going to do today. We'll start off with looking back at 2022's predictions. And I made a video. There were lots of you that watched it. Some of you maybe haven't. You can if you want, but I'd probably focus on this one at this point. But we'll recap some of those predictions. So the first prediction I had for 2022 is that we would have a record number of home sales. And unfortunately, that's not the case. We did not have a record number of home sales in the Seattle area. We actually saw home sales decline here this year. A lot of factors, but we didn't see a record number. Number two is that we were going to have continued buyer competition, and we did in the normal parts of the year that we see the most competition. We saw hyper competition, but we also saw the second half of 2022 cool off a lot as interest rates climbed, and that was my third prediction. The interest rates would climb. We'll revisit that in a sec. But we're going to call number two maybe a wash because we did have the most competition that we've ever seen in the housing market in the early spring, and we saw that cool off considerably. So we're going to call that one a wash. We're ending the year here heading into 2023 with way less competition. So again, we had hyper competition, and now we have houses selling below asking price, so we're going to call that one a wash. Number three, slight interest rate increase. Well, let's just say it wasn't slight. It was substantial. So we're going to say that we missed on this one. Interest rates are well into the sixes right now, ending the year here kind of around 6.5 is what Mortgage News Daily has on their website as of today, recording this video. Number four, home prices continue to increase 8 to 10%. So the projection was it wasn't going to be 30%, but it was still going to be substantial. Earlier in the year, home prices were up 20, 30% year over year. A lot of that was due to the multiple offer frenzy. But what we experienced here as we wrapped up the year was that home prices are in some places down year over year, but most places across Seattle. When I film the next video here, you'll get to see this. So pay attention to the January 2023 market update for the best numbers here. But I think we're going to call number four a wash as well because there are some places where home prices are up more than 8 to 10% year over year. But if we look at the year, we saw home prices go up a lot, come down a lot. So again, we'll look at that one a little bit more in the next video, the market update. But I would say we'll call this one a wash because there certainly are places where homes are up that much, but there are also other places like Bellevue where homes are down year over year already. Number five, trend of people moving to the east side and surrounding suburbs of Seattle will continue. I would say this was true. We had a lot of people still looking to move out of the city. I would say here as the years wrapped up, I've seen more people that have wanted to live closer to the city again. I think maybe that's because prices didn't increase as much in the city over the past few years, and now it actually seems reasonably priced again, which was one of the big reasons people were moving to Seattle maybe even 5-6 years ago instead of some of these other areas because it was so affordable to be right by all the parks and convenient to work. And I think we're seeing that a little bit again returning. So I would say that this one was a win and a yes, check mark. But at the same time, I would say I'm starting to see maybe a shift back to people looking at the city again a little bit more closely. I did throw in a bonus last year, a sixth point, even though I said there were going to be 5. And that was that condo and townhouse demand would increase. Let's call that one a negative. If we look at the year over year numbers, we did not see more townhouses and condos sell than the previous year. I would say earlier in the year there were more people considering those options because the prices were lower, which is my thought heading into the year. But if we look at the total year as a whole, well, condo and townhouse demand wasn't as high because there weren't as many sales. So I would say, across the board, the demand has decreased. So again, maybe we could call it a wash. I'm going to call this one a negative. And overall, looking back at 2022, we saw some things we hit on it, some things we didn't. The year was quite the roller coaster. If you've been following along, I think 2023 will be a little bit easier to predict. There aren't as many variables here in the year, but let's take a stab at it. Let's move on to my 2023 Seattle real estate market predictions. And I would say that I think these are going to be a little bit easier to predict than last year, a little bit fewer moving parts and variables. We also aren't at record high prices with super low interest rates that are on the rise. But these are some predictions that I have for 2023. And again, we're going to look back at these at the end of the year as well. But here are some thoughts. Number one, home prices in Seattle and the surrounding area will be down year over year. I think this is a no-brainer answer here, but I'm putting it on here because it's important. The past few years, we've seen increases in those year over year median sales prices, and right now, well, we're already seeing a trend of home prices coming down and pulling back. So it'll be easy to see once we get to the spring and the summer that we're not going to have homes selling for anywhere near what they were selling for last year. Do I think we're going to have any kind of catastrophic drop-off? No. I don't think we're going to have some massive bubble pop, but I do think that we're going to see home prices down year over year. Number two, I think interest rates are going to remain higher than they have been or what we've become accustomed to, but I do think when we finish the year 2023 that we're going to have interest rates a little bit lower than where they are currently. Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae both are predicting that we're going to have lower interest rates towards the end of the year. Not low interest rates, but lower interest rates than where we're at now, and I would agree with them on that. My third prediction for 2023 is that new construction in Seattle and the surrounding areas will continue to slow. That's not a win. We really need construction to continue picking up. We're already low on the amount of new construction that we really need for the balance in the market. There just hasn't been enough new construction over the past decade to keep up with all the people that are buying houses. And that's been a real big problem in the Seattle area specifically. That's why we've had so much pressure on the existing homes, because there aren't enough new ones for everybody. So the fact that new construction is slowing down is a massive blow to what has maybe been a slow, gradual recovery on the new construction inventory. But the fact of the matter is, inventory for new construction is likely going to decrease because price for supplies has gone up. The price of homes is going down. So the incentive for builders to build is, well, it's not really there. So a lot of the bigger builders and developers are still going to be putting product out on the market. But I think a lot of the smaller developers are potentially going to be sitting out unless they get some really good deals on their land. So again, the prediction is here that we're just going to see fewer new construction starts here in 2023. Prediction number 4 for 2023 is that we are going to see fewer home sales, significantly fewer home sales in King County and Snohomish County. That is the Seattle, Bellevue metro area. You could even lump in Pierce County there. I don't talk about Pierce County as much in my videos, but let's just say the general area, we're going to see significantly fewer sales than we traditionally do. I think we'll see even fewer than we did this year. I also think we're going to see significantly fewer new listings. So as a whole, I don't think we'll see a massive buildup of housing inventory. I don't suspect we're going to see 5-6 months of supply in the housing market, but we might see 2 to 3 months again in the springtime like we did back in 2019. I also think that some of the factors here contributing to fewer listings, number one, we have really high interest rates, at least compared to what people have gotten into here in recent years. So a lot of people refinance their mortgages. A lot of people bought with really low interest rates. So the incentive to sell and buy and transact is a little bit lower. I think the affordability piece is there. There are less people that can afford maybe to make that jump into the next house. But at the same time, there are also people that are having a difficult time affording the purchase. I think there are quite a few factors at play here, but I would say the affordability piece and the interest rates, and those are tied together for buyers. But for somebody who's thinking about selling and buying, I would say those are two separate things. I think those are the main drivers here for why we might not see as many listings as we have in previous years. Number 5, and this will be my final point for the 2023 predictions video, and that is that we're not going to see a buyer's market or a seller's market in 2023. What I mean by this is that we aren't going to see the hyper competition that we saw in the past few years, where buyers are bidding up the prices and removing contingencies and essentially just giving sellers whatever they want to make a home purchase. But I also don't think we're going to see a market where buyers get whatever they want and home prices are going for 10, 15% below asking price on a regular basis. I think we're going to have more of a balanced market where buyers and sellers are negotiating over price and terms and contingencies, and that both have more of an equal opportunity in those negotiations, but they're still going to have to work together on finding what that looks like. I don't think we're going to see a market where sellers are getting whatever they want, like they were in 2022 at the beginning of the year, and I don't think we're going to see a market where buyers are getting whatever they want in the negotiations, which is maybe where we feel like we're trending, but I think what we're coming to is more balanced than we are a buyer's market. So 2023 in the Seattle area is going to be more of a balanced market than it is going to be a buyer's market or a seller's market. This wraps up my 2023 Seattle and Bellevue real estate and housing market forecast. I think 2023 is going to be a year where home buyers have that opportunity they've been looking for over the past few years to make a home purchase successfully without all the competition. I also think there's a lot more balance in the market right now for buyers where there hasn't been over the past few years. So this year, 2023, I think is going to be the year of the home buyer, whereas previous years maybe have been multiple years in a row where sellers have the main leverage in negotiations. If you're somebody watching this video and you're thinking about a purchase in 2023 or a sale in 2023, and you want to connect and get my opinion on your situation, again, not every situation is created equal. I'd love to be a resource for you and bring value to your situation, and I'd be honored for the opportunity to interview to be your real estate agent.